Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages across all nations, races, denominations, what is up? The King of Lightning here today, bringing you guys and gals Ushio to Torah episode reviews. Today, catching up in one fell swoop, Ushio to Torah episodes 7 through 9 review. And if you haven't seen them, and I'm pretty sure you already have, but if you haven't seen them, just in case, there'll be a link in the box below. Now, these episodes are actually fairly important to the overall story because it starts in episode 7, where episode 7 segues into like the journey, alright? Where you're gonna have Ushio, who's gonna go to his uncle in Hokkaido, and he's gonna learn things about his mom. And we also get the introduction of this supposed like really bad entity, this bad yokai, this thing that's going to appear in the future, Hakumen no Mono, something like that. Ever since the Beast Spear has now been freed from, Tora's imprisonment, now Hakumen no Mono is going to appear. So, like, that's obviously fairly big. And aside from that, where you have the temple being introduced, the organization that Shigure works for, aside from that, the episodes are fairly episodic. So, episode 7 is like the exception, but episodes 8 and 9 are episodic. They're just, things that happen on the way to Hokkaido. So, I'm going to make this review as general as possible, obviously. So, I can just keep everything nice and organized, even though I'm covering the episodes. So, first of all, animation. For all three, it's honestly the same. It's pretty much good through and through. In episode 9, some of the scenes I thought were very well animated, involving predominantly it was the Kamikachi things with the blades, mainly on Juro's part, because what he was doing was pretty cool stuff. Like the way they were running about through the woods, the way they were the way he was cutting up a lot of these people, and when he was attacking Ushio and his brother and sister, Kagari and Raishin. And like there was one scene in particular I thought was fairly well done, is when he actually like cuts like the side of the cliff, and the cliff starts to and all the rocks and debris start to fall on Ushio, Tora, and company. So that was pretty good. And then episode 8, some of the stuff involving the demon, Fusama, a demon that Tora had actually known about like way back when. And he thought that he was a real hassle to deal with back then, because lightning doesn't work on him, and most physical attacks don't work on him anyway. And only like fire can work on him. And what he was doing when it came to like the combat, that was pretty well animated too. And then episode 7, the good animation there, honestly, was when you had Shigure and Tora going at each other. That was good. That was actually pretty damn good. But in my personal opinion, what sticks out the most was episode 9, animation-wise overall. But overall, the animation was pretty good through and through. Pacing-wise, it's episodic. For the most part, the episodes are episodic. And they cover what they need to cover within one episode. When it comes to the situation, when it comes to the characters. I forgot what the girl's name in episode 8 was, but how her father was killed in Ian by Fusama, and how there was some Japanese pilot, some jet pilot. He was flying by the plane. He actually saw her father, who he actually worked for in the past, and then she blames his death on him, calls him a murderer, and then she gets to experience and see the yokai, face first, and that changed her whole outlook on the thing, because she believed that it was just a legend, or like he was lying, and then she actually sees the yokai. The yokai's trying to bring their plane down, and whatnot, kills the pilots, then the guys take over. So basically, episodic. They cover with what they need to cover in one episode. The only exception, honestly, is episode 7. Where episode 7, it segues to the journey to Hokkaido. So, like, I don't know what's going on with school, but right now it's fuck school. Because not only do you have to go to Hokkaido and see your uncle and get intel on your mom, because what she's doing right now is very complicated, but also you have the temple being introduced, which is very important to the overall story, because they are the organization that Shigure works for. And apparently they have pupils, or they have individuals who have been training to utilize the Beast Spear, candidates to use the Beast Spear. But Ushio, of course, fucked the whole system up, because he went in there and grabbed the Beast Spear, and now he's using it. Furthermore, you have this, like, I'm not too sure if the monks that attacked Shigure, Tora, and Ushio were the same monks that were near that one lady, like that one priestess. But the priestess, she's like, as far as you know, she's like the head honcho. And then you have like these monks that I'm going to assume are subordinates of the elder monks, the elder priests, and they're like the top 5 dudes, essentially, top 5 people in the organization. And they speak about, like I said before, Hakumen no Mono. Now, my assumption, Hakumen no Mono, epic, uber demon, that is now apparently since the Beast Spirit now is, back in the world, Hakumen no Mono is going to appear real soon. Hakumen no Mono is feared to the point where even a demon as powerful as Fusama, even he's like, you know what, I'm actually happy that I'm dying now via missile strike, because I don't want to meet Hakumen no Mono. So it's mad hype right there. So this is a demon that even Tora's very powerful. Even Torah has a hard problem dealing with Fusama. But the guy is like, Hakumen no Mono, I'm good to die now. And I kind of find it strange how Fusama is talking about Hakumen no Mono. And Tora has heard Ushio's father, Shigure, mention that, as well as Fusama say that. How come Tora's saying shit? Like, Tora should know well about what Hakumen no Mono is. He should know. But he hasn't said shit. So I find it very odd. So, like, maybe, when it comes to, like, years, because from my understanding, the demons are stronger the more they live. I think, something like that. Like, their age coincides with their strength. And I know that in episode 9, Tora, he was basically, like, insulted that Kagiri, or Katagiri, whatever her name is, the one of the Kamaikachi, 400 years old. And he's like, you're just a damn kid. And here you're making fun of me and shit. You crazy? No, it's nuts. So 400 years old to him is a kid. So maybe Fusama is actually older than him, Tora. Not too sure. But regardless of that fact, if it's a fact at all, I'm not too sure. But regardless of that, there is something going on with Hakumen no Mono, and Tora not knowing about that, I think is kind of weird. Now, also in episode 7 is what I think fairly important involving, it's not stated, but I think it's heavily implied, where Ushio's mom, I think, has some relevance to Hakumen no Mono. And he's going over to Hokkaido to not only get intel on his mom, but also to train. Honestly, I think he's going to train. Because you have the candidates that the temple has had. They have 2 faces. They have the face where they are like a religious organization and prayers and whatnot. And then they have the other side, the dark moon side, if you would, where no one sees, but they regulate yokai within Japan. And they have these people that have been training to master the beast spear. So these guys, in theory, are stronger, or they can have a better connection with the beast spear than Ushio. So he's going to probably go to Hokkaido and train his uncle to actually learn, how to use the powers of the Buddha key. And actually be able to take on yokai without Tora's assistance. Because there were too many times where, and it was especially obvious in episode 9, where Ushio gets punked massively. Episode 9, Juo does an attack, like one attack. You have freaking Ushio, he charges in there as usual, spear thrust, like yeah, and then he just gets murked. And then he's on the ground. The spear moves by itself and Juo blocks the attack. And then he goes off. It's Tora that actually inflicts a wound on Juro. But when Tora grabs Ushio, it's like, yo, let's go. And Ushio has this, wound on his face. He's like knocked out. He looks like a corpse, essentially. And Tora's like, what the fuck? How do you die from this flesh wound? That's bullshit. So my assumption is that he's going to the train as well. Because Ushio's combat skills are lacking massively. So episode 7 is, pacing-wise, it sets up a whole new, foundation for the story. But it's still episodic. And it's, it honestly, at its core, it's episodic. But it does broaden the horizon of the overall story, obviously. So episode 7 pacing wise, I think is a lot better than episodes 8 and 9 because it holds more weight to the overall story. Though I'm not too sure about the girl and the pilot in episode 8, but I can see Raishin and Kagari being relevant in future episodes. I can see that happen. So just how what's his face Hyo, I think is gonna be relevant in future episodes. So those two, I think I'm gonna put in the same boat as Hyo. And aside from that, that's really it. Now, when it comes to the character progression, all right, character progression, because I pretty much mentioned the story progression and the pacing, all right, because they go in this sense, it's hand in hand. All right, story progression, it's episodic, but we're now on the way to Hokkaido. That's story progression. And the whole Hakumen no Mono thing, again, that's all part of story progression. So pace and story progression, they're in the same boat. When it comes to character development, episode 7 does a very good job for characterization for not only Shige, but also for Tora and Ushio. Now, character progression-wise, I think Tora made the most because in episode 7, there's a part in the episode where Tora, he was going to like full-on kill this priest, this monk that was attacking him. And then the claw goes to a fist and he just punched the shit out of him. And you have Shigure, who was evaluating Tora through means of combat to judge if Tora was actually safe to stay around Ushio. And he mentions how back in the past, Tora has done some unspeakable horrors upon humanity. And yet ever since he's been hanging out with Ushio, he's changed completely. So, in episode 7, what Shigure does is like evaluate the overall character change of Tora. And then it's solidified when Tora decides not to kill the priest, but to simply punch the priest and then move on. And not only that, but assist Shigure in combat against the other priests. So, even though you have the thing going on with Ushio and his mom and how Shigure is kind of like holding back something that he believes initially, and he has to punch his dad in the face, like, I'm fucking serious about this, dad. Like, don't give me that money. And then that was, at first, I'm like, yo, that's a grimy-ass move. Like, here's some money. I'm like, what? No. That was filthy, man. I was like, goddamn. Motherfucker is dirty. Like, he's been some mud wrestling shit right now. But no. That was for travel expenses, which he lost the money, by the way. But still, like, it was like, wow, like, that's fucked up. That's real fucked up, Dad. But it does show the weight of if he actually did it for the money, or if he was gonna give the money to silence Ushio, it would actually show the weight of what his mom was doing. So it's good for Ushio's character and Shigure's character as well, because Shigure's character, he reviews that, he's a part of the temple, he exterminates or he seals yokai, and he maintains them in Japan. So we get more insight on his character. So characterization wise, it's good for him and Ushio. But character progression wise, I think the most character progression. The most character progression, if I can fucking speak right now, that I think occurred in the episode was episode 7, and that was Torah. And through, episodes 8 and 9 are more so character introduction, with the exception of one thing. Episode 9, when you have Juro commit suicide by diving into Ushio's spear. I mean, that's what it was. He attacks Ushio. Ushio instinctively raises the spear to defend himself, and he just takes the blow. And their whole characterization and progression is done in one episode for all of them. Honestly, Raishin, no. Raishin, no. Kagari, kind of, but it's not that much at all. But Juro, yes, and he dies, and he's gone. Because the main focus was Juro, alright? I mean, they explained the system of how they work together, but it was Juro who seemed to be affected the most by human activity. And it does broaden into a greater issue where, humans, they obviously manipulate the nature around them for their own needs and whatnot. And Ushio can kind of relate to that when he was a kid, where he loved this jungle gym that he used to play on. and some kid fell off it. Because the kid fell off it, they had to take it down. So he was really mad about that when he was a kid, and he can relate to that. So I can understand that there is a broader picture in that episode, but character-wise, it's just mainly Juro. All right, it's Juro, and then it's Ushio questioning like why, like why did he do this? Like how could he just dive into my spirit? Like how could he attack me knowing that he was going to die? Like why would he do that? And then he explains how all I wanted to hear was like a genuine sorry. All right, genuine emotions from a human, because he blamed all of humanity without exception, without bias. And he realized that what he was doing was wrong. And he understands that at some point it's best if they conform to what's happening around them. I mean, he even states to Kagari and Raishi that you best keep your human forms because there probably isn't a place for us anymore. And Juro probably couldn't live with that reality. Kagari and Raishin, maybe. And they probably will. But they still hate humans for what they've done to their original homes. But you have to conform, you have to adapt to the world around you. So yes, you were in a position of power way back when, but humans gained technology, and technology changed the face of nature. And now you have to live with humans and keep your human forms if you want to still exist as a species, as a yokai species. But Juro couldn't handle that. And that's why Juro decided to, go out the way he did. That's what I think. So, character-wise, Juro was pretty damn good in episode 9. Honestly, he was fantastic. But that's it. And Ushio, it made it to episode 10, where he gets more characterization based off of Juro's death. But in episode 9 itself, no. So yes, he does cry because he can relate to Juro, but that's really it. It still benefits Juro in the long run. So, that being said, I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. So episodes 7 and 9, I'm going to go with great. At episode 8, I'm going to leave it at a good, and I'll call it a video. So, King Laning, of course, give me your thoughts. As always, let me know what you guys think, and be sure to rate the video. Don't be scared, rate the video. Comment and subscribe as always. Peace! Have a nice goddamn day.